We'll try that one more time.
Just leave it. Welcome back to All Things Acura, where I'm Matt and I have forgotten who I am.
And I'm Justin. And Matt has been out for a little bit. He went down to visit the mouse at the Magical Kingdom.
Yeah, the old Mickey Mouse.
And we have not been updating anybody on anything. And we are back to get that fixed.
Yeah, a month at Disney will it'll drain your bank account.
I bet.
So I got to get back to doing some.
you better get busy. That mouse.
That mouse will take your money. Yeah, it's funny. I just saw an article the other day about is Disney affordable for the average American anymore, and probably not. So
I don't even think you have to take a poll on that.
Yeah.
I think that's a.
So I had to come back to work, unfortunately, but here we are. So we want to do some updates.
We got some pricing out to you, though, while Matt was on his absence. So I tried to shoot that out to everybody on the Integra as soon as that was released, which is exciting. And Matt wasn't even here for it.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Figure. He was, again, playing with the mouse. And
there was a mouse in the house.
Right? So what are your thoughts on the pricing, Matt?
Yeah, it's funny, as I've obviously saw the pricing, and I want to get into it yet, but I also saw, some of the comments, about the pricing. So I kind of had a little bit of both at the same time. And, the pricing is pretty much, I think, exactly where we felt it was going to be. The whole, can you trust us? Yeah, you can trust us because, we're just telling you what the facts are.
Yeah, I think that was one of the comments, and I think you see it in there. It says, do we really trust a salesman and their manager? And look, guys, we're just literally just trying to pass on the information that Acura shares with us. It's not our pricing, and it's not our ideas or thoughts. It is, we are just trying to provide information to you guys. There's no trickery on our end to trick anybody into anything. Yeah. If the Integra is not the car for you, it's not the car for you.
Totally.
But we did see, like you said, pricing did fall like exactly almost where we thought that they could push it, which they would. Obviously, the cost of everything kind of going through the roof, and I'm sure the cost of production. Oh, that reminds me. Great article that we'll talk about in one of these episodes coming up. Talking about, and I'm not sure what site did it. And if you have a chance, maybe you can Google it or look it up. But we'll share the information because I thought it was fascinating. Talked about how much actually margins that each one of the car manufacturers had in their product. And I think most people would be blown away to actually see what a manufacturer makes on these vehicles. And look, we're not an advocate of anybody. The point is, the thought is they make it for $8.82 and sell it to you for $30,000, and that's not reality. And I know you guys know that that's not reality. Most of these, it is shocking what some of these car manufacturers make on a car. And then when you start combining, that's now I think they went through the pricing. So you combine the incentives and stuff in there. It's like, wow, they are just barely moving units on a lot of these things.
I did not read that, but that's something I have been looking for actually for years.
Yeah, it's really good. We'll go through that in one of these episodes so you guys have that information because it's really neat stuff. And it's not to pat anybody on the back. The moral of the story is your iPhone, and I haven't seen a stat on this, but I know the last one I saw cost $2.36 to make your iPhone that you paid $1,000 for. And I don't know if anybody wants to do the quick math on that, but that's thousands of % markup, and that is 180 degrees on a manufacturer's side. So, keep all things in perspective. Again, we're just trying to pass out the information. Don't kill the messengers. We're excited to see the Integra back to the original conversation. And I think they really priced it where they thought they could and keep it well within the lineup. Is it more than a Civic? Yes, and it's going to be and it should be. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's funny because, I don't know how much a Civic Si is. I should have looked that up. But then, you talk about like the Civic Type R, which I know is a performance car, but you're talking over $40,000 for that car. Yeah. And it doesn't have, if you haven't been inside a Civic Type R, it's not like a nice car to be inside of. Like, there's huge bolsters on the seat. I don't think it even has a sunroof. I'm pretty sure it doesn't actually. But like you lose some of those amenities, and that's kind of what you get with the Acura. You have a car that's has a little bit of performance, it has the niceties. So the car topping out at 37.5 basically is to me it's a lot of car for that. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. So
yeah, I think they're going to do a good job with the car, and obviously we're biased to the brand, but I think when you start looking out there what you can buy for that price range, in something that's probably a notch nicer. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't other nice sedans or cars in that price range.
Sure.
But when you start saying that, I can get into the level of an Acura luxury, the warranty, the service, and everything that goes along with that, you start to question, that is a great price range.
Well, keep in mind the ILX, which this car's replacing, was, I think it was like $35,000 at one point, and then they lowered the price. I forget, it was like 18 or 19 when they lowered the price again.
Yep.
But that car, like a tech package, was like $35,000.
Yeah.
That wasn't, comparatively, you're talking essentially like a couple grand more for this car, which gives you significantly more features and a lot better looking car. Now, again, we haven't driven it yet, so we'll get into that too.
So on that note, timing wise, let's talk about that a little bit. Cars have been assigned to dealers in transit. Manufacturing started, and if you guys are really looking at Integra, they started manufacturing probably, I think, almost a couple weeks ago now.
Yeah.
And as I knew they would, they start early. They're trying to build some available product that not only ones that are sold in the system, but stuff to get on the ground, try to get those demo units. Mm-hmm. Those got assigned to us yesterday. So make sure that you keep an eye out at your local dealer to see when that's going to arrive. Here's the kicker. We're at the very end of May, and we're going to do our best to get this out within a day or so. So you're hearing this as real time as possible. We really expect these cars, next week.
Yeah,
I think the on sale date's going to be sometime at the beginning of June. I don't know that the demo unit's going to show up much faster than what the regular production units will. But we're excited, and it's happening right now. We're close now. Really
and we wanted to make sure we got this out before, because the next one we could be, by next week we could have that car here, and we might do something where we talk a lot about being with the car and whatnot. And I know we have some build dates. So I think we were hoping that this car might be here mid-May, but I think I just read something earlier on with Honda and Acura that they said early June, so we'll see.
Yeah, and they kind of hinted around when the pricing came that it was going to be June, and as we've gotten closer, I know when they talked about the manufacturing, I know there's some cool videos out there showing some of the manufacturing, which that's pretty rare for them. They don't do that very much. I know that maybe that doesn't seem very unusual, but for Honda and Acura to open a plant for media to go in and see, they actually were very secretive of that. For us to even get a tour of the plant was an act of something to get that to happen. But they let the media in there to see some of that production and see some of those cars. So, and they kept saying June. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the time frame. We're sticking pretty close to schedule. I think so. Obviously, we all wish it was sooner. But on the other side of that, all the manufacturing across the board, which we'll get into on another episode. We're going to try to talk just a little bit about Integra on this today. But on another episode, really put the brakes on for May. This is probably going to be, unit-wise, one of the lowest volume production months that Acura's had in a long time. Maybe ever. I don't know.
Yeah.
So for them to get this Integra out rolling, it's probably pretty good.
Yeah, obviously they're pretty proud of the car, so they wanted to make sure they had it out. But it's interesting, and I didn't even realize this, and I don't know if this was a thing that we knew, but all of the ones that we are getting happen to be the A-Spec Tech package. I don't think, were they making any other ones at first?
So I don't think, and that's a good point you brought that up. I think most of what's in the system are all the A-Spec Tech trims, and this just goes with not to make anybody want to spend more money than they have to. It just goes with the demand is usually on the higher trim levels, and a lot of people want the manual transmission, which you do need to go to the higher trim level.
Yeah.
So Acura tends to lean heavier towards building those higher trim levels at the beginning of production of a model, and I think that's why we're seeing that. I know we did get assigned some regular A-Specs. Have not seen the regular entry level or regular.
Oh,
Integra.
yeah, the regular Integra, or whatever we want to call that.
Right.
Integra, yeah, is what it says. But yeah, so I know, and that with regards to like pricing as these cars are coming out, I know obviously we have still taken the stance of selling at MSRP. Obviously, people want to add some accessories and stuff like that. They can. It's funny. There's so much talk in our comments regarding how much this car is going to be marked up and whatnot, and most of the ones we have coming in right away are already kind of spoken for units. The ones some of the ones that we have coming after don't have build dates yet. But I don't know. That's up to each dealer, honestly. But I saw a comment that said 15 to 20 grand. I'm like, I don't think anyone's doing that. I mean, unless they just don't want anyone's business for a long time. So
right, and that's like you mentioned that before. I think some of these dealers might put a sticker on a car like that because they want that car to stick around to be able to show people or something. Yeah. I don't know that they're really thinking that that's what they're going to get, or just flat out asking somebody for that kind of money over. But I haven't heard that. People marking them up. With as little production as there is with vehicles right now, there could. I'd probably lean back the other way and say there probably are going to be some dealers out there asking a little bit more over MSRP because of the limited supply of anything, not just Integras.
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, now that's not to say there aren't dealers that are going to sell them at MSRP because we're one of them. There, and I know there's a lot of them I've talked to that are asking no more than MSRP.
Yeah.
So, that's something. Do your due diligence. There's one out there. There's one somewhere that you're going to be able to find one out there that can. So,
and it wouldn't surprise me that like after the first ones come out of the people who order them, I think it's not impossible that after that maybe places will start to mark them up because that was something we didn't know what the price was going to be. So if you're someone who's looking at an MDX or something like that, and your dealer's telling you that they're going to mark the price up, well, that's something that that is known as you're kind of going into it. Whereas at the time, when people place their orders, we had no idea how much that number, what that was going to be.
Right, we didn't even know what the price was.
So after those come out, it's that's not impossible. So again, just get in touch with your dealer, making sure if you order something or you buy something from them that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. I know we kind of try to pride ourselves on that. We try to make sure as much as we can that. Because we have people that have sat out there for a couple of months at a time, and it's like you've forgotten, okay, what we have in this deal, like where were we with that, and you kind of forget like where things were. So you want to have that discussion up front before the person comes in, and then all of a sudden is surprised by what they're paying for the car. So
yeah. So to touch on a couple comments on the Integra. One person said, so the manual transmission is only available in the top trim, and I know that 90% of you might already know that, but it is only available with the A-Spec technology package to get the manual transmission. The good news is it doesn't cost any more. I know that sounds kind of goofy, but we somewhat expected that maybe that manual would cost a little bit more than the CVT automatic. The comments kind of go back and forth. One person loves it, the other person says, I'm not spending that much for the car, and I go back to the point of value. I think for what it is, I think it's going to be a great value.
Yeah.
The maintenance program. And we had touched on this once before, and I knew it was probably just a little 30-second talk about it in when we were talking about the car originally. It does come with a 2-year, 24,000-mile maintenance program, and that is because it's a 23 model, and just as a hunch, or what we're expecting, because they kind of said that's going to be across the board. So all Acuras moving forward for 23 are going to include 2 years, 24,000 miles of maintenance.
Yeah, because originally we weren't sure. We didn't want to just dispel all that because we didn't know if they were going to do it across the board or if it was just going to be for this car. So it sounds like that will be the case for all models for 23 model year Acuras. And it's, again, 2 years, 24,000 miles, whichever comes first. So just kind of keep that in mind. It is a nice program. It's nice that they're offering that for I don't think it's the first time ever.
Yeah, that's the first time Acura's ever offered maintenance. A lot of these comments get back to the people mentioning about inflation, and it's too bad that it's priced where it's at. And it says inflation is a killer. Look, there's a great article, and we'll share this in one of the other episodes about the price of cars today is actually, with the cost of money, is actually less than where they were, and I think it was 10 years ago they were comparing.
Okay, interesting.
So if you took the cost of money today versus 10 years ago, they're actually less than what they were. Not more.
Wow.
Less. And so when you really, and I'll get that data because it's interesting. So we, obviously everything's gone up. We feel that. But when you talk about the auto industry and you talk about new vehicles, not used, because used, it's wild, wild west, right? They're all over the place. Dealers asking whatever. People are asking whatever. But when you're talking a new vehicle and you look at, okay, where was the, use the MDX because they had a prior year. Where was it priced last year? Where is it priced now? Is it more? Sure, it's gone up a couple $1,000, I think, from where it was, $1,500, $2,000. But in comparison, that's like a 3% increase. I know when everything else I buy today is way more than 3% increase of what it was last year.
Right.
Matter of fact, most products are 50%, 100% more than where they were last year. At the grocery store, I don't know if there's anything you buy that's not 50% more.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So there's a ton of stuff that's gone up through the roof. And I think, obviously given the circumstances with labor and all the supply chain issues and gas prices and, the manufacturers certainly could have came out and raised the price of these cars way more than they have. So, are they more than where they were? Absolutely. Are they earth-shattering, like this is what's, stifling the world? No. Home prices are up through the roof compared to what automobile prices are last year or 2 years, right? So everything's gone up way more in consideration. And I'll share that information because I was kind of on the same boat. I'm like, gosh, everything's going up. It's just going up so much. It's going up so much. But when you really do the homework on it, right?
Yeah, sure.
It's the economics of it. You dive in and you go, it probably hasn't gone up as much as it.
Right.
People
forget that, percentage. Obviously, it feels like everything's going up, and obviously it is in a lot of cases. But percentage-wise, obviously it's not the case that everything is the same. So it's good to kind of know that, just so that way, people don't feel like car prices are just exploding. But like you said, used cars, that's a whole other story. That's the wild west.
It's a gentleman that mentioned inflation was a killer. So I bought a new 2004 Acura TSX. And so was that 18 years ago?
Yep.
For $26,000.
Oh wow, that's
So
18 years ago.
18 years ago, and the new one is effectively $10,000, $12,000 more. I don't know that that's crazy or not. That's a long time. 20 years is a long time.
Yeah, in the auto industry for sure. Well, anything like that for sure. The other thing, there's one comment that I wanted to mention with regards to some of the features. The question was if it's going to have a power liftgate. I don't remember reading that, and we probably should have our notes in front of us with that. But I think I saw one video where I saw that it had it. Now I didn't know if that was specifically on. I think it is on the top trim level only, so the A-Spec tech package. But obviously, when we get ours here, we will kind of have a better idea if that's the case or not, and if it has the foot lift gate. I doubt they would do that on that car.
Yeah, I wouldn't think they would do a foot lift gate.
And I didn't see that as an accessory.
Right.
So
typically they are. Right.
But I wouldn't. I think again, I'm not 100% sure. We'll know more when the car gets here, but I'm pretty sure it does have power lift gate. But the foot lift gate, I'm going to say no on that.
I'm pretty confident that's a 99% no. I did see. I wish the Integra came with a panoramic sunroof, rear seats, air vents, and heated rear seats as another option. Yeah, I'm with you on the sunroof. That was one thing that I kind of wish that they would have. The TLX doesn't have it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that it's been a deal breaker. But it would, as you move forward, you like to see some of those features. Heated rear seats, yeah. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't buy a car so my kids can sit in the back and have heated, warm seats.
Yeah,
I'm certainly not looking for a car for that. So it's going to be what I like in the car, not whether they have heated seats. But rear seat vents, I don't know that it doesn't. Maybe they weren't on the console, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have vents.
Right.
A lot of times they put those vents under the seat. Sure, they're not directional. Maybe you can adjust them, whatever. But there are usually vents in almost all cars, right?
Yeah.
So there's a couple. My dealer says MSRP plus delivery plus a $699 BS. I'll keep it clean. True coat, which I mentioned that's some type of wax or sealant that they're putting on it, and must finance. And
Yeah, call it. That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know that again, that's just their way of trying to give you something rather than trying to mark the car up over MSRP. Is it great? No, but that's still it's a small price for them to try to make up for what they're not getting in volume and not getting in car availability. Like it or not, you can hate us, you can call us whatever you want, but that's the reality of it. Here's the real reality and the moral of the story is, you have there's a whole laundry list of vehicles, and I'm sure some of you guys have ran across it out there, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 over MSRP all the time, every day, nonstop, right? So when we're talking 1-2%, of things, that's minimal. I mean,
right, yeah, and especially since they're giving you value, that was, we do stuff similar to that just because, again, we have to try to we have 3 cars here. Right. So we have to try to maximize every deal. It is what it is. But we're not doing that in a way of just saying, okay, here's we're gonna just pack money on top of the car just to put money on top of it. There's added value there. I mean, there is. I mean, it's actually a product that gives you something in return.
And I don't want to make it a pricing, but that's what a lot of the comments are. And so we just touch on that. And from a dealer's perspective, where's it coming from, and what do we think? And kind of those are some of our thoughts. Again, it's just like anything. There's such a limited supply right now, and you can say, well, I'll wait, and absolutely, if you feel that down the road there's going to be more and there's going to be more opportunity, let's all hope so. I mean, by far, we'd rather, instead of having 3 cars, we'd rather have 150 cars like we had this time last year, and we gladly, strike a deal. So
right.
So, anyways, any other thoughts or anything that you?
No, I know the next one. I think we want to talk a little bit about like some of the inventory stuff.
Yeah, we'll touch on that on inventory in general and just kind of what happened with production dates and where that's going and get a feel for it. We just kind of want to touch on the Integra real quick because it is coming soon. We're excited to see the car and get the video out. I think the media got to go down to Texas last week and actually drive the car, meaning there's going to be some actual reviews on driving experience and everything like that.
Which I don't think they can. The embargo. I don't know. I didn't see an embargo date, but I'm guessing it's the sometime beginning of June is when we might see those. So people have driven the car. It's out there. So
that's exciting. You'll get some third party, I guess you'd say, advice on how the car
That's right.
drives.
Yeah, don't take that. Yeah, we'll see. We'll review those videos first and let you guys know what we think of those videos.
Right.
But yeah, we're excited about the car again. Hopefully we'll get one maybe within the next week or two. Hopefully not 2 weeks, but
hopefully within the next week.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you again to everyone for watching. Again, like and subscribe. Sorry we took the little hiatus. That was mostly my fault. But again, seeing everyone again. Thank you so much again, and have a good night.
And we'll talk to you soon.